The stars stretched endlessly outside the viewing window of the starship Aegis, their distant lights shimmering like tiny sparks of hope in the vast darkness. The ship moved steadily through uncharted space, carrying a crew accustomed to routine patrols along the edges of known territories. Captain Elena Varick stood near the bridge's main console, her hands folded behind her back, eyes scanning the soft hum of monitors and blinking lights that painted the room with quiet urgency. The crew around her moved efficiently, checking systems and logging readings, all aware that even in these calm hours, the universe was unpredictable. It was Lieutenant Jaron Holt, the ship's sensor officer, who first noticed the anomaly. His fingers danced across the holographic display, zooming in on a faint blip that appeared on the long-range sensors. "Captain," he said, his voice low but steady, "we have something. A large object, unregistered, drifting near the outer edge of Sector 12-9. Captain Varick raised an eyebrow. "Unregistered?" she asked. "Could it be debris from a destroyed station or a lost cargo vessel?" Jaron shook his head. "No readings match anything in our database. No registry, no known ship design, no detectable life forms. It's unusual." The bridge fell silent for a moment as the information sank in. Lieutenant Mira Kalin, the navigation officer, leaned forward, squinting at the projection. "It's huge," she said, "and its energy signature is off the charts. It's almost as if it's not even using power the way we understand it." Captain Varick considered this. She had always trusted her instincts, but her duty to the fleet and the crew came first. "Prepare a shuttle," she ordered. "We're going to take a closer look. We proceed cautiously, no assumptions, and everyone stays alert. This could be a threat, or it could be something extraordinary." The crew obeyed immediately, the hum of activity filling the bridge as protocols were enacted. Engineers checked power relays and shields, while communications ran scans for any possible signals. A sense of tension settled over the team, mingling with excitement that often accompanied discoveries in unexplored space. As the shuttle detached from the Aegis, Jaron's fingers flew over the console, keeping the unknown ship in view. The closer they got, the more details became visible. The object was massive, longer than any human vessel ever constructed, its surface sleek and smooth but etched with patterns that seemed almost organic. The lines of the hull twisted and curved in ways that defied traditional engineering, reflecting light from distant stars like a liquid mirror. It drifted silently, as though aware of its observers but making no move. Inside the shuttle, engineer Kieran Voss studied the readings in awe. "It's beautiful," he whispered, unable to hide the fascination in his voice. "And it's completely empty. No crew, no life readings at all." Lieutenant Callan frowned, her hands gripping the control panels. "Doesn't it strike you as inviting?" she asked, her tone uneasy. "It's almost like it wants us to come closer." "Or it could be a trap," Kieran countered, his brow furrowed. "We have no idea what we're dealing with. For all we know, this could be some kind of automated weapon, lying in wait." Captain Varick's voice came through the intercom, calm but firm. "All observations must remain objective. Proceed slowly. If there's any danger, we retreat immediately. Everyone stay focused. Curiosity is necessary, but survival is more important." The shuttle glided alongside the alien vessel. Its enormous size became clearer, stretching hundreds of meters in length, curving upward in elegant, almost impossible arcs. Sensors began to pick up subtle energy fluctuations, not engines, but a kind of hum resonating through the ship's hull. The readings were unlike anything human science had cataloged, alternating between high and low frequencies in patterns that seemed deliberate. Suddenly, the ship's surface shifted. Panels slid seamlessly along the hull, revealing smooth openings that could only be docking ports. The shuttle's sensors registered movement, but no life forms. It was as if the ship was acknowledging them, preparing to receive them. "Captain," Jaren said, his voice tense, "the ship. It's responding to our presence. I'm detecting changes in the energy fields surrounding it. It's almost like it knows we're here." Varric felt a shiver run down her spine. The sense of being observed was undeniable. "Keep your wits about you," she instructed. "We proceed, but nothing is touched until we understand it." The shuttle moved toward the docking bay that had opened like a doorway. As it approached, the ship's exterior shimmered briefly, reflecting the shuttle's lights back at them. Inside, the docking area was enormous, illuminated by soft white lights that seemed to come from the walls themselves. The shuttle touched down gently, and magnetic clamps secured it without a sound. The crew took a deep breath before exiting. The airlock doors of the alien vessel opened automatically, sensing the humans approaching. Captain Varric led the team inside, her pulse quickening with a mixture of excitement and caution. The interior was unlike any human ship. The walls curved seamlessly into the ceiling, floors glowing faintly beneath their feet. No consoles, no chairs, no obvious controls were visible. Yet the atmosphere was calm, almost serene. Kieran crouched near the wall, scanning the material. "This metal, it's alive in a way," he said. "It reacts to our presence. I don't know how to explain it. It's aware." Lieutenant Kalen's voice was a whisper. "It's like the ship itself is thinking, watching us." Captain Varric raised her hand to halt the team. "Eyes and ears open. We don't know what we're dealing with." "But we must proceed carefully. Jaren, keep us connected to the Aegis. Mira, maintain navigation systems in the shuttle. If anything happens, we return immediately." As they moved deeper into the ship, the walls began to shift subtly, creating pathways and corridors where moments before there were none. The humans felt a strange sensation, as though the ship was leading them to a specific area. Eventually, they arrived at a large chamber, its center empty but surrounded by faintly glowing panels etched with strange symbols. The air was still, yet there was a rhythm to the silence, a pulsing energy that seemed almost like a heartbeat. Kieran approached one of the panels cautiously. When his fingers brushed the surface, a holographic projection sprang to life. A three-dimensional map of the galaxy filled the chamber, highlighting areas unknown to human records. Lines of light moved across the map, connecting distant star systems, showing pathways that could defy conventional space travel. "Captain," Jaren said, awe in his voice, "this ship, it's showing us something. Information beyond our understanding, almost like a guide." Varric studied the display, her mind racing. The implications were staggering. If this ship had been floating unnoticed, unrecorded, and fully intact, it could represent technology centuries beyond human capabilities. But more importantly, it seemed intentional. The ship had not attacked, it had not resisted, it had simply waited. A sudden flicker of light caught the team's attention. In one corner of the chamber, a holographic figure appeared. It was not a person, nor any creature they recognized. Instead, it was an abstract form, shifting and flowing like liquid light. A voice, clear but strange, resonated in their minds, bypassing normal auditory channels. "Travelers," it said, "you have come. We waited for those who could understand. Observe carefully, learn, decide." The humans exchanged startled glances. Mira whispered, "It's talking to us. Not with words exactly, but directly." Captain Varric stepped forward. "We are explorers of the stars. We come in peace. We seek understanding, not conflict. If your message is a warning, we are listening." The holographic figure pulsed brighter, and for a moment the humans felt a connection that transcended language or species. They sensed awareness, intelligence, and purpose. The ship itself seemed alive, guiding them toward knowledge that had been waiting for a civilization capable of comprehending it. Suddenly, the floor beneath them trembled slightly, and a low hum filled the chamber. The ship was not motionless. It moved subtly, yet deliberately, its enormous bulk shifting in the void outside. Through the viewing windows, stars streaked past as if they had entered motion. The humans realized that the ship might have a destination in mind, and it was not theirs to question. Kieran broke the silence. "It's moving toward human space, towards inhabited sectors." Jaren's voice was tight with concern. "Captain, I don't like this. We don't know why it's heading that way. It could be a threat." Varric took a deep breath, her mind racing with possibilities. "Or it could be a protector. Either way, we need to understand before making any judgments. Keep monitoring systems and let's continue exploring carefully. This is history in the making, crew. We are witnessing something extraordinary, and it is our duty to learn from it." As the humans ventured further into the alien ship, the sense of wonder deepened. Every step revealed new mysteries. Panels that responded to thought, lights that shifted with emotion, corridors that reconfigured to their movement. They realized that this vessel was not simply a ship. It was a living archive of intelligence, a sentinel waiting for the right minds to awaken its purpose. And so, the crew of the Aegis continued their cautious exploration, aware that they had stepped into the unknown. Beyond the walls of the alien vessel, the stars waited silently, holding secrets that humanity had yet to uncover. The first part of their journey had begun, and with it, the promise of discovery, danger, and the possibility that humans were capable of more than they had ever imagined. The ship hummed softly, a sound that resonated deep within the humans' minds, as if acknowledging their presence and silently judging their worth. The sense of anticipation was almost unbearable. The mysteries of the alien vessel had only just begun to reveal themselves, and every moment brought new questions, each more profound than the last. Captain Varric looked at her team, determination shining in her eyes. "We are the explorers of the unknown," she said quietly. "And whatever awaits us inside this ship, we will face it together. Remember, this is not just about survival. It is about understanding, about proving that humanity can rise to challenges greater than ourselves. Keep your minds open and your hearts steady. The stars have chosen us for this moment, and we must not fail." The crew nodded silently, the weight of their mission settling upon them. Outside, the alien ship glided through the darkness, unseen by the rest of the galaxy, carrying humanity toward a destiny that was yet to be written. The first step had been taken. The air inside the alien ship felt alive, a quiet hum resonating through the floors and walls as if the structure itself were breathing. The crew of the Aegis moved carefully, each step measured and deliberate. Captain Elena Varric led the way, her senses alert to every shift of light, every subtle vibration. Behind her, Lieutenant Jaren Holt monitored the readings, eyes darting between the holographic displays that constantly changed, responding to their presence. Engineer Kieran Voss and Lieutenant Mira Kalin followed closely, both captivated and cautious as the corridors stretched before them, twisting in ways that challenged the crew's perception of space. The ship was vast, far larger than it appeared from the outside. Every chamber seemed designed with purpose and intelligence, though none of it resembled human engineering. Walls shimmered faintly, glowing panels appearing and disappearing as if in response to thought. Some areas seemed to respond to movement, shifting to reveal passages that had been hidden moments before. The sensation was disorienting but not threatening. The crew felt guided, not trapped. "Captain," Jaren said quietly, pointing to a corridor ahead. "The sensors are picking up faint energy signatures. Not life as we know it, but some form of active energy. I think the ship itself is functioning as a living entity." Varric nodded, her expression serious. "That would explain the way it reacts to us. Keep monitoring, Jaren. We need to understand it before we make any mistakes. Kieran's eyes widened as he examined a nearby panel. He reached out, and the surface rippled under his touch. Information appeared, holographic symbols swirling in complex patterns. "It's a control interface," he said, excitement and awe in his voice. "Or maybe a way to communicate, but it's unlike anything I've ever seen. It's intuitive, almost like it wants to be understood rather than forced." Mira, standing slightly behind him, frowned. "Or maybe it's testing us. We don't know its intentions." "We have to be careful," Varric agreed. "Proceed, but gently. This is not a machine to hack. This is a being of intelligence, and we need to respect that. Our actions will define how it interacts with us." As the team moved deeper, they entered a chamber that was enormous, with walls curving in impossible arcs. At the center floated a holographic map of the galaxy, more detailed than any human star chart. Thousands of systems were represented, many unknown to the crew, and lines of light moved between them, connecting distant stars in intricate networks. "This is incredible," Kieran whispered, stepping closer to the projection. "It's showing us something. Paths, connections, maybe routes faster than warp travel, maybe strategic locations for exploration or protection. I don't know, but it's giving us knowledge humanity has never had." Jaren leaned in, eyes scanning the map. "Look at these highlighted systems. They're not in our database. Whoever made this ship had knowledge of the galaxy far beyond us. This isn't just exploration, it's guidance." Suddenly, one section of the map glowed brightly. A symbol appeared above it, and a low hum filled the room. A voice, resonant and clear, spoke directly into the minds of the crew, bypassing normal sound. It was not threatening, but it carried authority and purpose. "You have come," the voice said. "You are observers of the unknown. Your species has been chosen to understand, learn, but do not take what is not given. The future depends on your discernment." The humans exchanged glances, uncertainty and awe mingling on their faces. Mira whispered, "It's talking to us. But not in words exactly. It's like it knows we can understand meaning without language." Captain Varric's voice was firm. "We are explorers, not conquerors. We will learn carefully and respect what is shown to us. We do not intend harm." The holographic map shifted, highlighting a system far from human-occupied space. A faint shimmer appeared around it, and lines of light traced pathways to it. Kieran gasped. "It's like it's pointing us somewhere. Maybe this is a destination? Or a warning?" Jaren frowned. "Could be either. The energy readings from that system are unusual. I can't identify what it is with our current sensors." Varric considered for a moment. "We follow carefully. We need to understand, but we must not rush. This ship, whatever it is, it has purpose, and we are being guided for a reason." As they studied the chamber, Kieran's attention was drawn to another area of the floor, a pattern that glowed faintly beneath the team's feet. He stepped closer, and suddenly a section of the floor lifted, revealing a hidden compartment. Inside, they found strange devices, floating above the floor, connected by streams of light. They were tools, but they did not resemble any technology the humans had seen. "These are instruments," Kieran said, awe in his voice. "But they operate on principles I don't understand. Some kind of energy manipulation, possibly defensive, possibly constructive. I can't tell yet." The voice spoke again, calm and deliberate. "You are tested not by strength, but by thought. Use what is given wisely. Your species must demonstrate care, intelligence, and cooperation." Mira's brow furrowed. "It's testing us. That's what it is. It wants to see if we are capable of understanding responsibility." Varric nodded. "And that is why it reached out to us. Humanity has reached a point where we can choose knowledge over fear. Let us prove we are worthy. Hours passed as the crew explored, each discovery more astonishing than the last. Some areas contained vast archives of information encoded in light patterns. Others showed holographic simulations of planets, some lush and vibrant, others harsh and desolate. The ship seemed to be recording every observation they made, learning as they learned. In one chamber, Kieran discovered a device that projected a three-dimensional image of a massive cosmic storm, far larger than anything humanity had ever witnessed. The storm moved across the simulation, threatening planets and star systems. He turned to Captain Varric. This is a warning. It's showing what could happen if civilizations are unprepared. This ship, it's not just a vessel, it's a guardian, a guide, maybe even a teacher. Jaren nodded. And it chose us to understand it. We are being tested not just on skill, but on character. How we respond will determine what we are allowed to do with this knowledge. Varric's eyes were steady, her mind focused. Then we must proceed carefully. No action taken in haste. Observation first, understanding second, and only then, decision. Humanity must show it is responsible for the knowledge we receive. As the day turned into night, the alien ship continued to reveal its secrets slowly. Paths opened where none had been before. Holographic interfaces responded to thought rather than touch, and panels shifted to provide insight just when needed. The humans began to understand that this was not merely technology, it was intelligence, alive and aware, judging their choices in subtle ways. Suddenly, the floor vibrated lightly, a warning signal that the ship was preparing to move. Through the observation windows, stars streaked past as the massive vessel began to glide through space. The humans realized that the ship was not stationary. It had a purpose, a destination, and they were now a part of its journey. Kieran glanced at the display. It's heading toward human-occupied space. But why? We don't know if it's friendly or dangerous. Mira's voice trembled slightly. Maybe it wants us to act as intermediaries. Maybe it trusts humans to do the right thing with what it knows. Or maybe it's just testing how we respond under pressure. Varric placed a hand on Mira's shoulder. We proceed with caution, but we also need to trust our own judgment. Fear cannot guide us, only reason, courage, and cooperation. The crew spent hours analyzing the data the ship provided. Each system revealed lessons about energy manipulation, defense mechanisms, and cosmic phenomena beyond human comprehension. Slowly, the team realized the ship was offering tools, not commands. It wanted to see if they could use knowledge responsibly, and if they could, it would reveal even greater truths. As they approached a distant system highlighted in the map, the ship's holographic projection shifted once again, showing a vision of a planet with a vibrant ecosystem. Streams of energy flowed from its core, stabilizing its climate and atmosphere. The ship's projection demonstrated the potential for civilizations to survive if they understood cosmic forces correctly. This is a message, Kieran said softly. It's showing what we could achieve and what could happen if we fail. It's teaching us. Jaren studied the projection closely. And it's testing us. Every decision we make from here on will determine whether we are ready for the knowledge it holds. Captain Varric nodded, her eyes reflecting both determination and awe. Then we must proceed together. Humanity must prove it is capable not just of survival, but of understanding, of wisdom, and of cooperation. That is the measure this ship seeks. Hours later, as the Aegis crew continued their careful exploration, a new realization dawned on them. This ship, abandoned in human space for unknown reasons, was not truly abandoned. It was waiting for a species capable of understanding its purpose and using its knowledge responsibly. Humanity had been chosen not because of strength or technology, but because of potential. The potential to rise, to learn, and to prove that they were worthy. The hum of the ship surrounded them like a living presence, resonating with each step, each observation, each thoughtful action. The crew felt it keenly, understanding that the journey was just beginning, and that every choice would have meaning far beyond themselves. Captain Varric stood at the center of the main chamber, looking at her crew. "Remember," she said quietly, "this is more than a mission. This is a test of what humanity can become. We must proceed with courage, curiosity, and care. The stars are watching, and so is this ship." The crew nodded in silent agreement, feeling the weight and the wonder of their responsibility. Beyond the walls of the alien vessel, the galaxy stretched endlessly, full of secrets, dangers, and opportunities. And inside the ship, a quiet intelligence awaited, ready to judge, ready to teach, and ready to guide humanity toward a destiny they could scarcely imagine. The first part of their interaction had ended with understanding and wonder, but the deeper journey was just beginning. The alien ship was not simply a mystery to be solved. It was a living entity, testing, guiding, and preparing humanity for challenges far greater than any they had faced before. And as the massive vessel moved silently through space, carrying its human guests toward unknown systems, every member of the Aegis crew understood that they were part of something far larger than themselves. They were participants in the first contact not with a species, but with a consciousness far older and wiser than any human mind had conceived. The path ahead was uncertain, but the humans were ready to face it with the courage, ingenuity, and cooperation that had always defined them. The stars outside glimmered in anticipation, and the alien ship continued its silent journey, a sentinel waiting to reveal the next chapter to those who were ready to understand. The alien ship glided through the void, a silent giant carrying the humans deeper into regions of space that no human had ever explored. The stars outside seemed to bend and shimmer as if reflecting the ship's intelligence. Captain Elena Varric stood on the observation deck, watching the swirling patterns of distant nebulae. Each new system they passed was unlike anything documented, each planet a potential mystery, each star a puzzle. She could feel the weight of responsibility settling over her crew. This was no ordinary mission. It was a test, and the ship was both judge and guide. Lieutenant Jaron Holt monitored the readings constantly. The ship's systems were far beyond human comprehension, but they seemed to respond to human thought and emotion. If a crew member hesitated, the ship adjusted. If they acted decisively, the paths ahead opened further. It was almost as if the ship was alive, assessing the crew not just for skill but for character. Kieran Voss crouched over a holographic console that had appeared in the center of the chamber. His fingers hovered above the light, unsure whether to touch or simply observe. "It's giving us more than knowledge," he said softly. "It's giving us challenges. Every time we interact, it tests how we think, how we work together." Mira Callan frowned, her brow furrowed. "I've never seen technology like this. It's not just a machine, it's evaluating us, judging us in subtle ways. Everything we do matters." Varric's voice was calm, firm. "Then we act with care. Intelligence alone is not enough. We must show wisdom, courage, and collaboration. That is the measure this ship seeks." As they moved into another chamber, the walls shifted, revealing a series of interconnected rooms filled with holographic projections. The images displayed complex cosmic phenomena, supernovas, black holes, planetary storms. One projection drew their attention, a simulation of a massive cosmic anomaly threatening an entire star system. Planets trembled under its energy. Asteroids were pulled into unpredictable orbits, and the system's sun flickered unpredictably. "This is a warning," Kieran said, his voice tight. It's showing us the consequences of not understanding the forces at play in the galaxy. This ship, it's a guardian, a teacher, and maybe a protector of civilizations. Jaren leaned closer, analyzing the readings. And it expects us to act responsibly. We're being evaluated not just on knowledge, but on how we apply it. It's testing our decision-making, our problem-solving abilities. Captain Varric nodded. Then we proceed carefully. Observation first, understanding second, action last. Humanity must prove it is capable of responsibility before it can use this knowledge. The ship responded almost immediately. Panels lit up along the walls, displaying symbols that, with careful observation, began to make sense. They were not words, not language as humans knew it, but patterns representing logic, cause and effect, and potential outcomes. Kieran studied them intently, realizing that the symbols could be manipulated to predict results in simulations. Each adjustment they made caused the ship to respond, subtly confirming or correcting their calculations. "It's teaching us through trial," Kieran whispered. "Every choice we make has consequences, and the ship is showing us what happens if we fail, and what happens if we succeed." Mira stepped closer to a projection of a distant planet. Energy streams swirled around it, destabilizing its atmosphere. "It's not just teaching science," she said. "It's teaching responsibility. We have to think about outcomes, about the lives that might depend on our choices." Captain Varric felt a mix of awe and urgency. "Then we focus. Every decision, every calculation, every observation must be made with care. Humanity must prove it can rise to challenges greater than itself." Hours passed as the crew navigated simulations, tested theories, and responded to the ship's challenges. Sometimes they succeeded, and the ship's responses grew warmer, smoother, almost encouraging. Other times, their errors triggered subtle corrections, a reminder that intelligence without understanding could be dangerous. The humans began to recognize the patterns, learning not just from success, but from mistakes. As they worked, a new holographic projection appeared. This one depicted a massive fleet of ships from another civilization, approaching a cluster of uninhabited systems. The simulation showed that the fleet was preparing to colonize, but the conditions were unstable. If left unchecked, the systems could collapse, resulting in the loss of countless lives. Jaren's voice trembled slightly. "It's showing us another scenario. We are being asked to make choices that affect entire civilizations. This is no longer a test of curiosity, it's a test of moral responsibility." Captain Varric nodded. "And this is why it reached out to us. It expects not just intelligence, but judgment, empathy, and cooperation. We must rise to the occasion." Kieran adjusted the holographic controls carefully. The symbols responded, forming patterns that allowed them to stabilize the simulated systems. Slowly, they worked together, combining logic, experience, and intuition to prevent the disasters depicted. Each successful solution caused the ship's energy to shift, resonating with approval. "This is remarkable," Mira said softly. "We're not just learning. We're proving ourselves capable of making the right choices. The ship, it's testing humanity's potential." Hours became days as the humans continued their training, if it could be called that. The ship revealed more complex scenarios: planetary crises, energy anomalies, cosmic storms, and delicate ecological balances. Each challenge required collaboration, critical thinking, and ethical judgment. The humans began to understand that the ship was preparing them for something far greater than themselves. One evening, as the crew rested, the ship projected a vision of a distant star system, one that shimmered with unusual energy patterns. The system's planets were threatened by an expanding cosmic storm, a force of nature that could consume entire worlds. The ship's projection showed the potential devastation if the system were left unchecked. Kieran stared at the display. "This is the real test," he whispered. "It's not a simulation. This is happening somewhere in the galaxy, and it wants us to understand how to respond." Captain Varick's eyes were steady. "Then we proceed with caution, intelligence, and cooperation. Humanity must show it can act responsibly when the stakes are real." The humans began analyzing the system, combining their knowledge with the ship's guidance. It projected solutions, but each one required careful judgment, not blind obedience. The crew debated strategies, weighing risks and potential outcomes, always mindful that the ship was observing their reasoning and decisions. Hours turned into a tense period of careful calculation and teamwork. Every choice mattered, and the humans felt the weight of responsibility pressing down on them. Yet, despite the pressure, there was also a sense of awe. They were being entrusted with knowledge and guidance far beyond human capabilities, and the realization that their actions could save lives fueled their determination. Finally, after careful planning and execution, the humans stabilized the system in the projection. The cosmic storm's energy was redirected, the planet's atmospheres balanced, and the potential catastrophe averted. The ship responded with a subtle resonance, a deep, harmonious vibration that filled the chamber. It was as close to applause as the humans could sense from an entity of pure intelligence. "We did it," Mira whispered, awe in her voice. "We passed the test, or at least part of it." Jaren smiled, exhausted but triumphant. "It acknowledged our choices. It recognized that humanity can act responsibly, not just with knowledge, but with judgment." Captain Varick stepped forward, her gaze steady and thoughtful. "We have proven something important," she said quietly. "Not that we are perfect, but that we are capable of learning, of understanding, of cooperating. The ship has been testing not just our intelligence, but our character, and we have shown we can rise to the challenge." The ship responded again, shifting its energy patterns and opening a new projection. This one displayed a distant star system that had been left uncharted in human records. Streams of light connected planets and moons, indicating stable travel routes and areas of interest. The humans realized that the ship was offering not just guidance, but a partnership, a way to explore and protect the galaxy responsibly. Kieran's voice was filled with wonder. "It's giving us access to knowledge that could change everything for humanity. We can explore, learn, and protect other worlds. This is extraordinary," Mira added softly, "and it trusts us to use it wisely. That's what matters. Intelligence without responsibility is meaningless. The ship knows we are capable of more than we realize." Captain Varick nodded, a sense of pride and humility filling her. "Then we move forward together. We continue to learn, to cooperate, and to prove that humanity is ready for the responsibilities that come with knowledge. This is only the beginning. The galaxy is vast, full of challenges and wonders, and we must be ready to face both." The alien ship hummed around them, a living presence that guided, observed, and tested. Its purpose was clear. It sought civilizations capable of understanding, of making wise choices, and of acting with care. Humanity had shown that it was ready to rise to that challenge. As the humans continued their work, the ship moved steadily toward the highlighted system in the projection. The crew understood that they were no longer just passengers. They were participants in shaping the outcome of a cosmic event. Every decision, every calculation, every moment of cooperation mattered. The sense of responsibility was heavy, but it was also empowering. Humanity was proving itself capable of greatness. Captain Varick looked at her crew, pride shining in her eyes. "Remember," she said, "we are explorers, but we are also stewards. This ship has given us an opportunity that few civilizations ever receive. Let us honor it with courage, intelligence, and cooperation. The galaxy is watching, and our actions here will echo far beyond ourselves." The crew nodded, understanding the significance of their role. Outside the ship, stars shimmered with possibilities, and the alien vessel continued its silent journey, carrying humanity toward challenges and discoveries that would define their place in the galaxy. The first tests were complete, but the true purpose of the ship and the ultimate challenge still awaited them. And in that moment, the humans realized something profound. Intelligence alone was not enough. Courage, wisdom, and the ability to work together were what truly mattered. The alien ship had shown them the path, and it was up to them to walk it. The hum of the ship filled the chamber, resonating deep within their minds, as if acknowledging their progress. Humanity had passed a trial of thought, of character, and of cooperation. But the journey was far from over. The next phase would demand even greater understanding, even greater courage, and even greater unity. And as the alien ship glided through the stars, carrying the humans closer to their next challenge, every member of the Aegis crew understood that they were becoming part of something larger than themselves. The ship had chosen them, not for conquest or power, but for the potential humanity had shown to rise above fear, to act with care, and to embrace the responsibility that knowledge brings. The stars stretched endlessly before them, and the ship's intelligence pulsed quietly, preparing to reveal the next chapter in humanity's journey, a chapter that would test not just their minds, but their hearts. The alien ship glided silently through the void, its vast hull reflecting distant stars like liquid metal. Inside, the crew of the Aegis moved with purpose, each step deliberate, each mind focused on the task ahead. Captain Elena Varick felt the weight of responsibility heavier than ever. The previous challenges had tested their intelligence, their cooperation, and their judgment, but now they faced the ultimate test. The ship's guidance had brought them to a distant star system under threat, a region of space no human had explored. Through the observation windows, the crew saw the system in full detail. The sun blazed with unstable energy, flickering as if on the verge of collapse. Planets orbited chaotically, some with cracked surfaces, others shrouded in storms that raged without pause. Energy streams from the star threatened to engulf the system entirely. This was no simulation. It was real, and it demanded action. Lieutenant Jaron Holt's fingers danced over the console, analyzing the readings. "The energy fluctuations are off any scale we've ever recorded," he said. "If this continues, the planets could be destroyed within days, maybe hours. We need to act fast." Kieran Voss studied the ship's projection panels, trying to understand the alien technology. "The ship has shown us how to manipulate energy flows," he said. "We can stabilize parts of the system, but we need to coordinate carefully. Any wrong move could make things worse." Mira Kalen's voice was calm but firm. "We've been preparing for this. All the challenges, all the simulations, they've led us here. We know what to do. We just need to trust ourselves and the ship." Captain Varick nodded, her expression determined. "Then we act. Humanity has been given a chance to prove itself. Let's show that we are worthy." The alien ship projected a detailed plan, outlining energy flows, planetary rotations, and areas of instability. Yet, the instructions were incomplete, intentionally challenging the humans to think critically. The ship would assist, but it expected them to make the right choices. Every decision, every calculation, every action mattered. The crew split tasks efficiently. Jaron and Kieran focused on energy stabilization, adjusting the flow of cosmic streams to counter the sun's fluctuations. Mira monitored planetary orbits, ensuring the gravitational balance remained stable. Captain Varick coordinated, making rapid decisions based on the ship's feedback and the crew's input. Hours passed in tense concentration. The energy pulses from the sun intensified, striking the planets with violent force. The ship hummed, its presence guiding and monitoring, subtly correcting minor mistakes and rewarding careful planning. The humans worked tirelessly, combining human intuition with the alien ship's advanced knowledge. "This is incredible," Kieran said, sweat on his brow. "We're actually doing it. We're saving an entire system." Jaren nodded, eyes glued to the readings. "And the ship is responding to us. It's approving. I can feel it. It's like it's alive, and it's satisfied with our choices." Mira adjusted the energy flow to a nearby planet, countering the chaotic storms. "It's working," she said, relief in her voice. "The planet is stabilizing. The storms are easing." Captain Varric watched the displays, coordinating the final adjustments. "Focus on the sun. Stabilize it before it reaches critical energy output. Everything else depends on it." The crew worked together seamlessly, each trusting the other completely. The ship responded, reshaping energy flows and projecting precise visualizations to guide their actions. Slowly, the system began to stabilize. The sun's energy fluctuations decreased, planetary orbits returned to predictable paths, and the storms on the planets began to calm. Hours turned into a tense but hopeful period as the humans executed the final steps. Kieran projected a holographic map of the energy streams, guiding the precise alignment needed to balance the system. Jaren calculated the timing for the sun's energy pulses. Mira ensured the planets remained steady, monitoring the slightest change, and Captain Varric coordinated every movement, every decision, with clarity and determination. Finally, the system stabilized. The sun's energy output became constant, the planets moved in harmonious orbits, and the storms subsided. The crew exhaled collectively, exhausted but triumphant. The alien ship's hum shifted, resonating through the hull like a deep, approving sigh. "We did it," Mira whispered, her eyes wide with awe. "The system, it's safe." Jaren smiled, shaking his head in disbelief. "We actually did it. We saved an entire star system." Kieran looked around at the crew, a mix of pride and wonder in his expression. "The ship, it trusted us, it tested us, and we passed. Humanity proved it could handle knowledge and responsibility." Captain Varric felt a deep sense of satisfaction. "This is more than success," she said quietly. "It's recognition. We've demonstrated intelligence, courage, and cooperation. That is what this ship has been waiting for. That is what it values in a species." The ship shifted subtly, projecting a new holographic display. This time it was a registry of civilizations, with an empty slot labeled Humanity. The ship's voice resonated in their minds once more. "You have proven yourselves worthy. You have shown intelligence, wisdom, and responsibility. Your species may now take its place among those capable of understanding and protecting the galaxy." The crew exchanged stunned glances. Humanity had been recognized, not through conquest, not through power, but through careful thought, cooperation, and courage. The realization filled them with awe. Captain Varric spoke softly, her voice full of emotion. "This is what humanity has always been capable of. We've proven that we can rise to challenges greater than ourselves, not through force, but through understanding and unity. This is a new beginning." The ship projected a final vision, showing distant civilizations and star systems connected by energy streams. It was a map of potential cooperation, of learning, and of protection. Humanity was now included, invited to participate in a network of knowledge and stewardship. Kieran stepped forward, his voice trembling with excitement. "We've been given tools to explore, to learn, and to help others. This is everything we could have dreamed of and more." Mira added, "And the best part is, we've earned it. Not because of technology, but because of who we are and how we chose to act. That's the essence of humanity." Captain Varric nodded, looking at her crew with pride. "We have shown that intelligence combined with judgment, courage, and cooperation can achieve the impossible. This is the future we are stepping into. We must continue to act responsibly, to learn, and to protect. That is the legacy of humanity. The ship hummed around them, a living presence acknowledging their achievement. Its energy pulses were warm, affirming, and resonant with approval. The humans realized that they were not just passengers, they were partners. They had been tested, and they had proven themselves capable of greatness. As the Aegis prepared to return to human-occupied space, the ship opened a stable wormhole, a bridge connecting the distant system to known space. Captain Varick's voice was steady. Prepare for return. Humanity carries knowledge, responsibility, and a new opportunity. We are ready. The crew worked efficiently, coordinating with the ship to navigate the wormhole. As they passed through, stars stretched and twisted around them, a dazzling display of cosmic light. The sensation was disorienting but exhilarating, a reminder that they were moving into a future shaped by their own choices and efforts. On the other side, human space came into view. Planets, moons, and colonies shone with familiar light, and the crew felt a mixture of relief and pride. They had been tested, challenged, and judged, and they had succeeded. Humanity had earned its recognition, not through dominance, but through wisdom, cooperation, and courage. Captain Varick addressed the crew. This mission has shown us what we are capable of. We have faced challenges beyond imagination, made choices with far-reaching consequences, and proven that humanity can rise to meet any test. Remember this. Remember what it means to act with intelligence, responsibility, and unity. Jaren smiled, exhaustion in his eyes. We've been given a chance to shape the future, Captain. And I think humanity is ready. Mira added softly. We've learned that courage and cooperation matter as much as knowledge. That's what sets us apart. That's why the ship chose us. Kieran looked out the window, eyes reflecting the stars. And now, we carry that responsibility. Not just for ourselves, but for the galaxy. This is the beginning of something much greater than we imagined. The alien ship, having fulfilled its purpose, remained near the system for a moment longer, humming quietly. Its presence was no longer mysterious but affirming. It had tested humanity, guided them, and recognized their potential. Then, almost imperceptibly, it began to drift away, disappearing into the depths of space, leaving humanity with the knowledge, tools, and responsibility to continue exploring, learning, and protecting. Captain Varick looked at her crew one last time. We have been given a gift, she said, not of power, but of trust. Trust that we will act wisely, that we will continue to rise to challenges, and that we will honor the responsibility we have been given. The galaxy is vast, and our journey has only begun. The crew of the Aegis stood together, united by their experiences, strengthened by the trials they had faced, and inspired by the possibilities ahead. Humanity had proven itself capable of greatness, not through dominance or aggression, but through intelligence, cooperation, courage, and care. And as the stars stretched endlessly before them, the humans realized that the universe was not a place to conquer, but a place to understand, to protect, and to explore. They had stepped into a larger role, one that required wisdom and responsibility, and they were ready. The alien ship's hum faded into the distance, but its lessons remained. Humanity had been tested, had proven itself, and had been recognized. The journey ahead would be full of challenges, discoveries, and opportunities to demonstrate the best of what it meant to be human. And in that moment, the crew of the Aegis understood the truth that the ship had sought to teach them. That intelligence alone was not enough, that courage without care was incomplete, and that the greatest achievement of any species was the ability to act wisely, responsibly, and together. The stars waited, endless and full of promise, and humanity was ready to meet them.